Guys, in this tutorial I will show you how to create a timer just like this one up on screen inside of Unreal Engine 5, so that way you can have your minutes and seconds counting down visually, and then something can happen. For example, the pause screen comes, your game ends, or you go to the next level, for example. I will code the logic for this timer inside of content, third person blueprints, and then my blueprint class of my character. Right click and look for the event tick, because this will run every tick. Then drag off a delay node, and each second we will adapt the timer, so duration of 1. Then B-click to add a branch here, and we look for a condition. First we need two variables, the seconds and the minutes. So let's add the minutes and the seconds. Make sure the minutes and seconds are set to a normal integer. Then hit compile, and let's start the game with 2 minutes. And for example, 3 seconds. Then we will look for the condition, we will look at the seconds first. So, Ctrl drag off the seconds, and then let's look for equal. If the seconds is not 0, so condition false, then we will decrease the seconds by 1. So, from false, Alt drag, set the seconds, Ctrl D to duplicate, drag off it, and then minus, so we can subtract 1 second. So eventually, by subtracting 1 second each time, eventually we will run into 0 seconds. So when this happens, the true value will be triggered. So what we do then? When this happens, we will create another branch for another condition for true, and then we will look inside of the minutes. So get the minutes, and then let's look for double equal signs. If the minutes are equal to 0, then you can, for example, end the game. But if it's not, then from false, we also set the seconds, so Alt drag off seconds, so we can set the seconds. And then we need to set them back to 59, because it will count down back to 0 from here. Then after that, we will also Alt drag out the minutes, because we're going to set the minutes. Now, Ctrl drag to get the minutes, minus, subtract, we will decrease it by 1 minute. And hit compile. So when we see this, what is happening here? Each tick, and then we wait for a second, so each second we will look if the amount of seconds is 0. If it is not, we will decrease it by 1. So eventually we will get 0 seconds, and then we will look at this condition, namely the minutes. If it is 0 minutes, for example, you can quit the game. I will show this later on. But if it is not, we will set the seconds back to 59 seconds, and 1 minute goes off, and then it runs again. And that way you will get eventually to 0 minutes and 0 seconds, which will be here in this pin. And now it's time to show this on screen. So go to your content drawer, let's right click, get user interface, and then the widget blueprint. Let's use the user widget here, select, name this UI for example, and let's dock this here. First thing we will need, or what I like to work with, is a canvas panel, so drag this on top of here. And we will need text. So drag the text here, click on the text block, and let's anchor this right here in the middle. Then for the text, the first one will be the minutes. In content, type 00. Inside of appearance, you can go to font and also increase the size so you can really see your seconds right here and your minutes. Ctrl D to duplicate this 2 times over. Grab this one right here, grab this one here. So this will be the column and this will be the seconds. So later on we can easily see here. And let's align this a bit. Look at it from far away. Okay, this is great for testing purposes. You can clean this up later on. Hit compile. Grab the first one, namely the minutes. And then look here in content text. Click bind, create binding. Now we will create the binding, but first, instead of going here, go to the event graph. From event construct, drag off this. Then get all actors of class. Now, the class that we previously used was here, this third person character. Your may different, so look from here, third person character, the BP. Okay, then out of all actors, get a copy. Then right click here from the output pin, promote the variable. You can use this as character reference, for example. Okay, and then connect this one up. So what we just did on construct, when this is created on my screen, I'll get a reference to my third person character and the logic inside of it. Hit compile and go back here to the binding that we previously created. Right now we can drag off this variable from here, get character reference, drag off the pin, get the minutes, because this was the variable inside of it, and then connect here to the return value. Let's clean this up a bit. Open this one up, and let's set 2 digits for the minutes here. Compile. Now, go back to your UI, the designer tab, grab the seconds, and also underneath content text, create bind, create binding, and let's do exactly the same here, but then for the seconds. So, scroll down here, get a character reference once more, get seconds, and then also connect this one up, and make sure we have always 2 digits on the screen. So, okay. Now let's show this UI on screen. So, back here, look for your blueprints and open up the level blueprint. Right click, event begin play, because I want to show this when my game starts. Drag off, create a widget, and we create the UI and the return value. Let's add to viewport and make sure both of these nodes are connected. Hit compile, and now when I hit play, you can see this is on screen. And it is counting down perfectly. Okay, now I'm not going to wait the entire time, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. Let's go back here, and then let's set the amount of minutes to 0. Compile, and 3 seconds is fine, so I can see what happens when my game here ends. 1, 0, and it's stuck on 0. So what you can do now is from this true value do anything you want. So print string, for example, game over. So play, 3, 2, 1, and then you see left on top game over, and it runs. But what you can also do is, for example, create widget, select your game over screen, pause the game, and add to viewport like I showed you previously. Or another thing you can do, for example, is quit game. So compile, play, and let's see what happens here. 2, 1, and the game quits. Okay, can work like this, and you can also alter the amount of minutes, amount of seconds, and this way you can change your timer as long as you need in order to get your game completed and test these ones out. Okay, I hope that helped and you now have a timer on side of your screen inside of your game.